gentlemen, hello and welcome to my newest video. It's a little bit of a different video than you're expected by me. This time we're going to be looking at my Premier League predictions, and I already see you thinking, well, why am I looking at a Football Manager page? Well, it's because not only am I going to show you my predictions, I have also simulated the coming season with the transfers and the promotions and relegations in Football Manager 2020. So I'm also going to show you guys how that played out and then compare it to my predictions as well. But before we take a look at that, let's take a look at my predictions in the first place. I did these on the 4th of September, so keep that in mind with looking at the transfers and that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna put up a screenshot of my predictions. I did it on a website called worldfootball.net. You can choose any league in the world as far as I know, and then you can predict every single game and it calculates the league table for you. So this is how it turned out for me. This is how I think it's going to play out the coming season. I think Liverpool are going to finish in first, and behind that Manchester City, the first two that are the same as last season as well, because I think even though the other teams have done some business in the transfer market, I still think Man City and Liverpool are up there and are above the other teams. Behind them, I have chosen to put Chelsea because they have done a lot of business in the transfer market. They've brought in a lot of new players and a lot of world-class players as well. The only thing that is going to be difficult is the fact that they do have almost an entire new starting 11. That you don't know how these players are going to play together. So they're good individually, but you don't know how they are as a team. So I have chosen to put them in third, just a couple of points behind Man City. After that, Arsenal in fourth. I mean, I wasn't necessarily looking to put Arsenal in fourth. They always finish fourth, right? I've chosen Arsenal fourth. Well, I haven't chosen it. It just played out that way. But I think Arsenal are gonna be high up there. Manchester United could be a good shout to go above Arsenal as well. But I do think those two teams are really close together. It's just a matter of are Manchester United gonna turn up or not, because you never know with them. Also, what I said doing this on the 4th of September, Donny van de Beek hadn't moved to Man United yet, so he is not calculated in there. Not that I think he's gonna start every game for them, sadly, but just for your information, he is not calculated in there yet. So yeah, Arsenal gonna be fourth. They've brought in a couple of players as well, not too much, but a couple. So I think they've done enough to finish that high up. And yeah, Manchester United in fifth, as it shows right there. Also, Man United also being a little bit active in the transfer market, and I say a little bit, a very, very small bit, where Arsenal have brought in of course, Willian from Chelsea and also Gabriel, the centre back from Lille. Those are two pretty important transfers, I think. I'm not sure how much Willian is gonna attribute to their team, but I think Gabriel is gonna be very important because, in my opinion, they really did need a new centre back. And also, they've got two Brazilian centre backs now, so that might be a good partnership. We'll just have to wait and see. And as for Manchester United, of course, as I just said, Donny van de Beek, but he wasn't quite in there yet. And other than that, actually, they haven't really done anything. They haven't brought in anyone. So I say they've done a little bit in the transfer market. They haven't done anything. But I still think they do have the team, especially now with Van de Beek. But they do have the team to finish that high up. And as I said, they might even switch places with Arsenal. Then in sixth place, I have predicted Tottenham to finish. Of course, they've lost Vertonghen, but they've brought in Matt Doherty, so I think he is gonna be not as good as Vertonghen, but he is gonna be pretty good for them as well. And also Højbjerg from Southampton. I think I'm not sure if he has the ability that the other midfielders at Spurs have. but he could be someone they were looking to as a replacement for, of course, Eriksson they lost. So I think also Tottenham not doing very much in the transfer market, but I still think they do have the team as well to finish in that top 6, just above number 7, which is, in my opinion, going to be Leicester. Leicester, I think they had a really, really good season last season, but I think they're not going to do it again. They have brought in a couple of players, more than the others, but they also have lost Ben Chilwell, arguably their best defender. So it's gonna be very difficult for them. Of course, they have brought in Timothy Castagne from Atalanta, but I don't think he can easily replace Chilwell. I don't think anyone could easily replace Chilwell. So it's gonna be difficult for them to replicate what they did last season, but I do think they have what it takes to finish up in 7th. And just a couple of points. Well, I say a couple of points. As you can see, the top 6 is really, the top 7, sorry, is kind of isolated from the rest. Between 7 and 8, there are 7 points, and after 8, which we'll get to in a minute, is even a bigger gap. So you could say the first 8 are a little bit isolated from the rest, and in number 8 is Wolves. So looking at the transfers that Wolves did. Let me take a look here. I don't know everything by heart. Of course, they lost Matt Doherty to Tottenham, as I just mentioned. Other than that, they didn't really lose any important players, I think. They have brought in a couple of players. Fabio Silva from Porto, Martial from Lyon. Obviously, Martial probably the replacement for Doherty. So they have done, I think, a good piece of business, not bringing in too many players, but I think they are looking at the right positions which they replaced or brought in. So yeah, I think they're gonna have a good season again. Wolves in the beginning, when they just got promoted, were really the surprise of the league, but now they're actually a steady mid-table team. As I said, behind Wolves, there's a 17-point gap until the next team, and that team is Everton. Looking at the transfers that Everton did, I mean, I already think they've got a pretty good team. And they haven't really lost anyone. Of course, they've lost Schneiderlin, Stekelenburg, and CDB, but I don't think those 3 players were really key to their performances. And they brought in players like Sandro, Alon from Napoli. And after I did these predictions, they also brought in James Rodriguez and Doucouré from Watford. So that might have let me put them a little bit higher in points, at least, not necessarily above Wolves, but in points at least closer to them. So yeah, I think especially those last 3 players, Alon, James, and Doucouré, are 3 really good players that are gonna be really important for them as well. It's just gonna have to show itself how they're gonna play together, just as I mentioned with Chelsea. So moving on, number 10 is Leeds United, and I know they just got promoted, and daring shout for me to say that they're going to be that high up, but I think they do have the team, and especially after a couple of transfers they made. They brought in Rodrigo from Valencia, who was a really good player. Robin Koch as well from Freiburg, also a very good player. Other than that, not yet. As I'm recording this, they are busy with another couple of players. So that might even secure their place at that position. But yeah, I think I think they can do it. I think they can actually finish 10th. Because the thing is, the top 6 or top 7 now maybe um, is really difficult to beat. But other than that, all the teams are very close together in my opinion. Maybe except for, well, maybe if you cut out the top 9, Everton and Wolves and Leicester as well with the top 6, everybody is really close together. It's always going to be tough for a newly promoted side to finish high up, but I think they can do it. I think they've got the players, especially with the transfers they've done. So yeah, I think Leeds are going to finish in 10th, and just 4 points behind them are Southampton. Looking at Southampton, they have lost, of course, Højbjerg and Harrison Reed and Mario Lemina. Is that correct? I think that's correct. Yeah, I mean on loan, but still. They brought in Wesley Hood from Royal Antwerp. who I think is I brought in. I think he's back from loan. I think he's a really good defender, and they might even be able to use him coming season. Other than that, they haven't really done anything. So I think they're gonna finish close to where they finish pretty much every season, right in the middle of the table. So yeah, I think Southampton are gonna be 11th, and behind that, only 3 points behind them, is gonna be West Ham United. Again, taking a look at West Ham United, they have lost 4 players, but not 2 important players. They've brought in also really nobody that's gonna be a key player for them, if you know what I mean. Of course, they brought in a couple of players, but not somebody that's gonna be key for their performances. So I think, as I said, with Leeds, all of these teams are so close together that it could go either way. But I think this season West Ham is going to be a little bit more clear from the relegation spots than they were last season. I think they're going to finish up in 12th, just above 13th place Burnley. Burnley, of course, also got promoted a couple of seasons ago. Also haven't really done anything in the transfer market. They brought in Will Norris from Wolves, and a couple of players besides him, but I don't think anyone that's going to be, again, just like I said with West Ham, not anybody that's going to be key for their performances. Of course, losing Joe Hart back to Tottenham and Aaron Lennon to Kayserispor, 2 players. I mean, as I said, Joe Hart left, but they brought in Will Norris as a replacement, obviously. I think they're going to be in 12th. I think 12th. Oh, sorry, that was West Ham. I think they're going to finish in 13th. Just because I think they do have the ability to finish there to beat some of the teams that are below them. Mentioning the teams below them, moving on to number 14, newly promoted Sheffield United. Also, just as I said with Leeds, it's always hard for a newly promoted side to finish high up. But I think Sheffield United have done a lot to make sure they can. They brought in players like Ampadu from Chelsea, Bogle and Lowe from Derby, Ramsdale from Bournemouth, Ravel Morrison as well. They've brought in a lot of players, and I think it's going to be hard because you don't know how the players are going to gel together, but they have got a couple of very good players. Of course, losing their goalkeeper back from loan, Dean Henderson, to Man United. But I still think, of course, they brought in Ramsdale, so they replaced him already. I still think they're going to finish pretty high up. I think they can do it, even though they're a newly promoted side. I'm very excited to see what they can do in the Premier League. But yeah, we're going to have to wait and see how all of these new players are going to play together. And moving on to number 15 are going to be Brighton and Hove Albion. So Brighton, just like Burnley, I mean, it's a hard team to predict. As I said, everybody's so close together, but I think Brighton have done a lot in the transfer market as well, bringing in Veldman from Ajax, Lallana from Liverpool, a couple of players that you might not have expected to move there. And other than that, they have lost a couple of players. They've lost Aaron Moy, they've lost Glenn Murray, Shane Duffy as well. But yeah, all in all, I do think they have what it takes to stay up. I don't think they're going to be very close to getting relegated. I think they're going to be safe. Just like the next team, it's going to be Fulham, another side that's very interesting to me. I'm very interested to see what they can do the coming season. Bringing in Jean-Michel Esteri from Galatasaray, who played at Nice, I think, a couple of seasons ago. I think he's a very good midfielder, and I think he can really do a job for them. Other than that, they haven't really done a lot, but they haven't lost a lot either. But I think it's going to be enough to let them be safe for another season, and they're going to be I think they're going to finish around 16th place. And moving on to 17th, just above the relegation spots, I think Crystal Palace is gonna be safe for this season. They haven't lost any players. They've brought in a couple. Most important, I think Connor Wickham and of course Eberechi Easy from QPR. I think Crystal Palace is gonna be safe for this season. I think they're gonna do it, especially with those two new transfers. I think gonna be really important for them coming season. Both of them really good players as well. Moving on to the three teams that are gonna be relegated. In 18th place, Aston Villa. They've lost a couple of players. Of course, Pepe Reina leaving. Matthias Harkic to Wolves as well, and then a couple of players, Danny Drinkwater back to Chelsea. Then they brought in Kalinic, the goalkeeper from Toulouse, Scott Hogan from Birmingham, James Bree, and Matty Cash. Four players that I think are decent players, but not good enough to get them to keep them in the Premier League. I don't think they're gonna be doing enough to stay safe. They just beat the drop last season. I don't think they're going to do it again. I think they're going to get relegated. Yeah, just because they haven't done enough. They haven't brought in enough players to keep them safe for the coming season. The same goes for number 19, which is West Bromwich Albion. So taking a look at the transfers that they did, they've lost a couple of players like Callum Robinson, Mateus Pereira, Nathan Ferguson as well. But they've also brought in a couple of players. David Button from Brighton, Diangana from West Ham as well, and Kipre from Wigan. But I don't think it's going to be enough. Just like I said with Aston Villa, I don't think it's going to be enough to keep them in the Premier League. I think they're going to get relegated. I think they're going to be close, just like Aston Villa. I mean, not, as you can see by the points, not that close, but I think they're going to be kind of close to being safe, but I don't think they can cut it. And the same goes for the number 20, which is going to be Newcastle. Now, keep in mind, as I said, I did this on the 4th of September. So at that point, they had Williams was gone, Bentaleb was gone, Danny Rose was gone, Lazaro was gone, Colbeck, Allen, and Woodman were all gone. And the only thing they had done was get Aarons back from loan and Jacob Murphy and Lazar as well. Other than that, they hadn't done anything. And a couple of days after I made those predictions, they brought in Callum Wilson and Jamal Lewis, and they're still busy with a couple of other players as well. I'm not sure if they can get any more, but they're still working on a few transfers, but they had already brought in two very important players for them, especially Callum Wilson being a very good striker for Bournemouth a couple of seasons. Jamal Lewis also being very important for Norwich. So yeah, keep that in mind when looking at the predictions that I predicted them to finish dead last, not even close to number 19, 18, and let alone number 17. But yeah, that might change a couple of things. I think in the season in FN that I had simulated, those transfers had been made. I'm not sure actually, but we'll have to wait and see. I predicted them to finish that last. With those new players coming in, they might finish a little bit higher, they might not. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, those were my predictions. Now let's take a look at how it played out in Football Manager. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I haven't seen it, how it played out in FM yet. So it's gonna be a surprise for me just as much as it is for you. I'm gonna keep my predictions right next to the screen and just see how many, according to Football Manager, how many I get correct, so to say. Of course, it's not really how it's gonna play out. Well, it could be, who knows? But yeah, we'll see how many I get. I predicted the same as how FM predicts it. So let's get into the Premier League. Let's do it this way. Go to Tottenham and then go to Premier League. So there you have the league. Let me just start off by saying that the top three already is not what I expected at all. So let's just walk through them one by one. First off, Chris Wood, top scorer together with Aguero, and Mane 6 goals behind as well. I don't know what happened to Harry Kane, how many goals he got. 18, alright, so he was close. But Chris Wood, top scorer of the league. That's already a surprise for me. Willian doing well for Arsenal as well. Couple of interesting things to see. But let's get into the league standings. So let's check it out like this. So in first, Manchester City, of course, as you may remember, I predicted Liverpool to finish first, so I got the number 1 wrong and immediately the number 3 as well, and the number 2, because I predicted Liverpool first, Man City second, and Chelsea third. Did not happen at all. I did, if I'm correct, yeah, or I did predict Arsenal to finish fourth, so that's the first one I did get correct. Then Chelsea in fifth, I thought they would finish third, and Man United in fifth. Tottenham in sixth, I did get correct as well as Arsenal, so I got the two North London clubs correct in fourth and sixth. So let's move on to number 7. In the end is Burnley, and I predicted, let me see, Leicester to be there. In 8th, Everton. I predicted Everton to be 9th. Let me see, in 9th is Leicester. 10th, Newcastle, who I predicted to finish dead last. So yeah, I might be a little bit wrong, might be a little bit off when it comes to Newcastle for the coming season. Number 11, Wolves, who I predicted a little bit higher in 8th. Number 12 is Brighton, who I predicted 15th. Number 13 is Sheffield, predicted them 14th. In 14th is Aston Villa, who I predicted 18th. Then number 15 is Southampton, I predicted to finish 11th. 16th Leeds, I got in 10th. 17th Crystal Palace, so I did get another one correct. In 18th West Ham United, who I got in 12th. 19th Fulham, who I got 16th. And 20th West Bromwich Albion, who I got in 19th. So I think I only got 3 correct, but then there were maybe 7 or 8 teams that I either got switched around, or only one spot below or above where they finished in FM. So yeah, if we take it from the bottom to the top, West Brom, Fulham, and West Ham should be relegated when according to FM. Tottenham and Chelsea get into Europa League in 6th and 5th. Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, and Man City are the top 4. So I'm not sure if in the update I got they did have Van de Beek, who I did not count in my predictions. They do actually. So that might be why he played every single game. 10 goals and 10 assists, doing really well. Really good to see Ajax player doing so well. So yeah, that might be a part of why they finished higher than I predicted them to. Other than that, I know Man United in FM are always a very tough opposition to play. So that might be the same thing, that in FM they're playing more consistently good than in real life. But we'll have to wait and see how next season turns out. These were my predictions and the predictions for Football Manager. So thank you guys for watching. After this, I think I'll do the Bundesliga. So if you're interested in that as well, keep your eyes out for that video. Follow me on Twitter as well so you won't miss it when I upload it. And also click the subscribe button so you will get notified as well when I upload that new video or my FM series. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.